Welcome back, Sports Buds. We decided to do a little mini episode here. We're going to do some QB rankings. The QB landscape is shifted in the NFL, not only on a macro aspect, now that you no longer have any Mannings, Roethlisbergers, or Brady's, but even within the micro of last night on Monday Night Football, we saw Aaron Rodgers go down. We saw Josh Allen have a very poor performance and basically lose the game for the Bills. So we figured asking the question of who's the best QB in the league as it stands right now. And so let's go through it. Let's talk it out a little bit. We all were in agreement with our number one and number two picks. Not really a surprise there. So we'll kind of go through why we feel that they are the way they are. And so, Nick, I'll start with you. Your number one pick was Patrick Mahomes. Well, all of our pick was Patrick Mahomes, but give us a little insight as to why you chose him.
I mean, because it's Patrick Mahomes. He's still the best quarterback in the NFL. I know they lost their opening game, but it wasn't solely his fault. If his receivers can catch balls, he probably would have won that game. So I think until proven otherwise, he's still the best quarterback.
And with this changing landscape in the NFL, we had a graphic that we shared within our group where it showed Patrick Mahomes leads the NFL right now with two Super Bowl trophies
hmm
now that Tom Brady's out of the league. And then it's a group below him with one, with your Aaron Rodgers, your Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, but then it's a whole lot of people with zero Super Bowl trophies. So Mahomes, I mean, just even with that credential, he stands out quite a
hmm
bit above the rest of the league, just having those two trophies. So, and then also just the eye test. Everybody that watches Patrick Mahomes knows that he's the best in the league, so it's pretty easy pick. Tony,
It's interesting when you do these rankings. I feel like we all had Burrow number two because you immediately think about number one. You're like, oh, but Burrow could
hmm
beat Mahomes number one. That's why we put him there. He's got like a rivalry going. He's got a winning record against him. But then you never think, I'm like, how much better is Joe Burrow than like a Trevor Lawrence? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't ever compare those two. I compare Burrow up to Mahomes always. I never compare Burrow to other quarterbacks like that. It's interesting, I think, when we do these lists, but Patrick Mahomes is a generational freak. There's like a chasm between the next guys. And to be honest, I don't think you forgot anybody. I think that's it for the quarterbacks with rings, dude.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think it is like those five guys, and Rodgers is out, so it's two guys now or something ridiculous, or three. It's such a small list.
well,
So
let's be honest, Rodgers' career is most likely done unless he really just pushes it to come back next season, and he's not going to be the Aaron Rodgers of old that we saw in Green Bay, quite literally. Um, so yeah, like the dynamic really did just shift overnight in the league.
hmm
Um, I'll bounce back to me, I guess, with Burrow. Kind of my criteria for this list was, oh, well, if I was to put Burrow on other teams, how would he perform? Like if I was to put Joe Burrow on the Chiefs, pair him with Andy Reid, like how successful would he really be? If I threw him on the Dallas Cowboys right now, if I paired him with Tyreek Hill and Mike McDaniel down in Waddle down in Miami. And so that was kind of how I got some of my QBs on this list. Nick, what about you with Joe Burrow at number two?
I mean, just what you guys had referenced to before with just his record against Patrick Mahomes, and he seems to have that Patrick Mahomes number right now. And he's one of the only other quarterbacks that's actually played in a Super Bowl. Yes, they lost, but he's actually been there. So that's why I have him as number two on my list.
Damn, and that list has gotten a lot shorter as well, of just
hmm
QBs that have played in a Super Bowl at this point. So you have to also give Burrow that little bit of experience at this
Yeah.
point, the way the league is. All right, this is where it gets interesting. Our number three picks. Tony, I'm going to start with you. Who did you have as number three for your QB in the league right now?
Trevor Lawrence, this guy, my What the hell was Urban Meyer thinking? The rest of the league is lucky that Urban Meyer sabotaged that team for a straight year because this dude, he's got all the tools. He's getting better. He's improving. Scary, man. He's scary. Like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he turns into one of these guys that can battle with Mahomes. But right now, he's looking like he's got everything that he needs.
All right. Nick, who did you have at number 3?
I went with Jalen Hurts at number 3, sort of for the same reason that I have Burrow at number 2 because of the Super Bowl appearance. I just think the combination of him being able to throw and run the ball has him up on the top 3 of this.
Okay. I mean, aside from me, I don't have Jalen Hurts in my top 5, but a little bit of my reasoning for that is I think his offensive line, some of his skill position players around him carried him a lot in that league. But hey, like if he continues to do what he did last season, this season, yeah, I will gladly put Jalen Hurts in the top 3. I just wanted to see a little bit more of him. But anyways, my third was Tua. I just think what you've seen from him over the weekend against the Chargers, what you saw from him last season, it's always just been about health, is in terms of what we've seen from the last year from Tua. He's performed in pretty much most of the games he's had. The games where he's underperformed, like it really was a question of health, I think, more so than just skill and performance. But when this guy's on, he's on. Like I said, that connection with Tyreek Hill is special. It's a connection that it's a generational connection, to use Tony's words, of just a guy that can accurately lob it up to someone that speedy that can just run right to the goddamn ball, and they have the timing down to perfection. And so defenses just have to stack against that, and then it leaves all these other great players that they also have on the offense open. But I think it starts with that connection. It starts with Tua's ability to spark that connection. And I think he's a special player. And really, if he can stay healthy, he can be an MVP this year. All right. Moving on to number 4, Nick. I will jump back to you. Who is your number 4?
Piggybacking right off your number 3. I really did want to have him higher on this list, but my number 4 is Tua. I think that he's going to continue to get better this year. This is the first time as a pro that he's had the same offense 2 years in a row. So think about that. Every year he's been having to learn completely new offense. This is the first time he's actually been able to go through the entire offseason going through it with the same offense that he had the year before. I think the continuity between him and Mike McDaniel is going to bring out even more in him. And by the end of the year, he's going to be a lot higher on this list.
All right. Tony, who did you have at number 4?
My guy Dak. Similar to Tua, some durability issues, but Jason Garrett doesn't coach football anymore. So that's who coached Dak for 4 years of his career. He's in his 8th year. So I think once Dak actually got with some legitimate coaches and they actually put some talented players around him, the Cowboys have won a lot of games, and that's why they keep going to the playoffs. And probably the most mentally tough quarterback in the league, maybe him and Mahomes. So got to put him up there now.
Hey, Dak's awesome. Like, don't take this as a knock against Dak. Like, I had him in consideration for this top 5 list. I just, same as Jalen Hurts. He's benefited a lot from a great offensive line, from a great run game. He's had some great skilled players throughout the year. I just want to see a little bit more of him, but hey, like, if he performs this season, like I think his ceiling can easily be top 5, top 3 QB. Just missed it a little. But anyways, I had the guy that Tua beat, Justin Herbert, at number 4 for me on my list. I still think he's a great QB, and to Tony's point, I think he suffered through a lot of bad coaching that's held him back. And I think if he can make a connection like Tua's made with Mike McDaniel, like, watch out. Like, he will be a menace in this league. And the only thing really holding him back right now is coaching. So Justin
Herbert is a coward. way that
Wow.
yes, I know why you like him, Mr. Kirk Cousins fan. He plays just like Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr. He's a coward. He doesn't throw the ball past the sticks. He's too smart. And so every single time you watch Justin Herbert, you could see him processing. Don't want to make a mistake. Don't want to make a mistake. It's dink and dunk city. This guy plays football. He has the one of the most talented set of tools, production, arm, mobility, plays like a coward. Watch him play. He plays like a coward. He doesn't take the shots that you need to take. He doesn't take those Josh Allen throws to get interceptions. He plays like a coward. He plays safe. He plays like Kirk Cousins. He plays like Derek Carr. This is what's holding the Chargers back.
I don't disagree with you. I'm not gonna go as far as to call him a coward, but this is
He
where
plays like one. He plays like one.
if you
plays
play
scared.
if you play like a coward, you are a coward. But I think this is where he benefits from some coaching of somebody that can bring that to his attention. I think sometimes people are so immersed in things that they don't see the forest through the trees, and they just need someone to bring it to their attention. And I think Herbert would benefit from that. I think a lot of his coaches, more of their mentality is like, I'm going to juice this lemon for all I can squeeze it for. And that's what they do, because they know that he has the arm talent and whatnot. And so sometimes they push him to do some just boneheaded decisions rather than what's the smart decision.
He never makes those boneheaded decisions. It's the safest quarterback play I've ever seen. Why is he so scared?
I think that Dolphins game, he had some pretty boneheaded decisions.
He didn't make any complete mistakes, but most of his yards came on like 3 or 4 passes, and one of those was like a 50-yard screen pass to Austin Eckler. So I agree with Tony on that he is scared. He doesn't take the chances. He needs a little more Josh Allen in him, and Josh Allen needs a little more Justin Herbert in him.
Yes, and offline we were like, there ain't no way Dak or Tua would have survived blowing a 27-point lead in a playoff game. Those dudes would have been crucified.
Yes.
And it seems like Justin Herbert's getting that Josh Allen type pass for a little while, because ain't no quarterback
I think
giving
he's
up a
getting the pass because of just how incompetent the coaching is. It's because I think people see that first and foremost of like, what the fuck are you doing, Brandon Staley? And so Herbert's secondary to that always. And right, wrong, or indifferent, I think that's why he avoids a lot of the criticism, is because he just has some very inept coaching on his end.
We'll
Like I
see.
said, whether that's right or wrong from the media, like, I think that's what's happening in that situation. All right. Nick did his 4. Tony did his 4. I did my 4. Now our 5 picks. Just want to recap here for everyone, including myself. All right. I'll start with myself on this one. I had Trevor Lawrence. Once again, I said my criteria for this list was that if you put certain QBs on different teams, how would they perform? Like, I'm sorry, Tony. I think if you put like Trevor Lawrence on the Cowboys, I think if you put Trevor Lawrence on the Eagles, like, goddamn. Like, I think those are going to be like easy Super Bowl contenders, and that's really just what I'm going off of. And I know that's just purely opinion based on my part, and it comes from no objective like facts or stats or anything like that. That's just really what I think, is that if you threw Trevor Lawrence on some of these teams that are competing right now, they rise to Super Bowl contender fairly easily.
But
Tony?
The Cowboys are a Super Bowl contender with Dak.
I think they are, but I think you throw Trevor Lawrence on the team, I think you guys are NFC favorites.
No.
They may still be, with that defensive performance they put on Sunday night. But I agree with you that Trevor Lawrence on one of those teams would definitely be a Super Bowl favorite.
All right. That's who you had as
That's
your
also
fifth.
why I went with him as my number 5 pick.
All right, Tony, who did you have at 5?
Tua. Just need to see more. Need him to stay healthy. I mean, he's kind of like Jalen Hurts. He's had that like 1-year run. where I'm like, I need to see you just reproduce this. And the way that Tua plays, it's a lot more easily reproducible than being more athletic than everyone else. So that's why I like that. I like the situation. I like it.
All right. That completes our QB power rankings for week 1. We're probably not going to do this every week. We try to stay out of the power ranking space. But like I said, just based off of everything that happened this weekend, including last night, Monday Night Football, felt it a little bit prudent to get this out there. So maybe later in the season, we'll regroup, check again, see where these QBs are at. But we'll check you in some other episodes. We got our actual just week 1 power rankings for teams coming up. And then we have our week 2 pick'ems. Check them out. Make sure you like, subscribe. I'm Chris Billings. That's Nick Kerr. That's Tony Reyes. Catch you later.
Thanks for watching the Sports Budz. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe.